Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. It is Snapshot 20w22a and in this one there is dancing piglins, changes to villagers and their workstations, a bunch of technical changes involving data packs and some experimental changes to rendering. So I can't pretend like I know what I'm talking about here. The blog simply says that shader support for accessing the depth buffer has been added, and the renderer now uses per pixel blending layers for some transparent elements. And what you're looking at right here is Minecraft with shaders. This was actually enabled through a resource pack, something I wasn't aware was possible, and it was tweeted out by one of the Mojang devs just after the snapshot came out. So I'm going to assume that what you're seeing right here is enabled because of these changes in this latest snapshot. And if that is true or not, these graphical changes are experimental, so they may be subject to change or removed entirely. So if you have any graphical issues playing in this snapshot, be sure to report any bugs and issues over at the bug tracker. And I myself have just found a graphical bug. Lightning doesn't render, but I'm going to strike this villager with lightning anyway, and we'll see it gets turned into a witch. Now this witch would have previously been able to despawn, but a change in this snapshot means that it will never despawn from your world. So there are changes to villagers and how they interact with workstations, and if you do villager trading then you might be concerned, and because I haven't really done a lot of it and I'm not an expert, I'm just going to try and explain these changes the best that I can, and I think I've understood them pretty clearly. So if you have multiple villagers, only one of them is going to try and work at a workstation. And you'll also see that they will walk to the workstation to then acquire it. So notice how only one of them went over here, not both of them at the same time. Let's place one a little further away to demonstrate that again. Come on now, one of you's gonna move. The game seemed to freeze there for a moment, so let's just do that one more time. Here we go, one of them walks over and claims the workstation. And as you can see, this means you can still reassign a villager, check its trades, see what book it's got, replace it and try again and see if you get something better. Now I've traded with this villager, so it's no longer a novice, it's an apprentice, and this will now give them priority over the workstation. So I'm going to put this down right next to this guy, and you'll see it's actually that one over there who works to this workstation and now uses it as it's the one it's assigned to. Now if it's nighttime, a villager isn't going to be able to claim a workstation. Apparently though, it can. I tested this a minute ago and it didn't. Huh. Maybe it's because it's already been a librarian? No. How very peculiar. Well, the blog says that it can't do that during night times or a raid, and in my previous test that seemed to be true, but not right now. And the last change, the blog post says that villagers will check and make sure their workstation is valid at all times of day as long as they are within 16 blocks of their workstation. And that's a big point about all of this really. If I go and place this over 16 blocks away from that other librarian, it means that, another villager can come along and claim it. And it appears to be this guy. So on to data pack changes. Data packs allow you to customize the experience of Minecraft, and I'm just going to summarize what the changes are right here. So when using the reload command, if the changes you've made to your data pack are faulty, it's not going to load the faulty data pack and keep the original one running. When a data pack stops a world from loading entirely when booting up a world, it's simply going to go into safe mode, which means only the vanilla data pack will be used by the game. Safe mode is also now going to be an option for servers, so you can make a server only ever load up with the vanilla data pack. And the detection of issues inside of the data pack itself now includes missing tags and other similar things. In this snapshot, the amount of blocks that bells can be hung under has been increased. However, where the limit of this is entirely, I'm not sure. You can hang them off of chain blocks, which looks really cool, and there is one block here that you can't hang them off of, which is the leaf block. So I've tried a few interesting block shapes, the cobblestone wall, shulker box, farmland, the iron bars, we've got a honey block over here, a campfire, and you can hang it under a particular side of the grindstone, but not this side. Then over here, some failed experiments, you can't hang it from cobwebs, string, signs, scaffolding, or the underside of a bed. And here's a few more shapely blocks I tried adding the bell to. Noticeably, when this thing gets a redstone signal update, it will actually ring the bell. And in this snapshot, you're not going to be able to mount an entity if you're holding down shift. I'm not sure entirely what the exception was here, but if you hold down shift, you won't mount the entity. Now this next change might be a big one in this game, I'm not really sure, but Endermen, when they're holding a block, will no longer despawn. If I teleport myself 500 blocks away, and then 500 blocks back over there, you'll see that the 3 Endermen that didn't put down their block yet are still here, yet the other one despawned, and that's because I went far enough away for them to despawn. Now this means that Endermen could potentially be in caves underground holding blocks and not despawning. If that's going to be a problem or not, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it could be an issue. So if you see an Enderman holding a block, it won't be able to despawn until it's put that block down. There is another rather significant change to Endermen. They are now going to avoid wither projectile entities. That's the skulls that the wither shoots out at the Enderman. And here you can see we've got one of these farms in action. And I wanted to come and check, and it looks like it's going to be okay. So having fully activated the farm, it seems to actually be working as normal. So I don't know in what other context we'd see the Enderman behave normally, but if you're going to use a wither for farming, it looks like that farm is still going to work. Here's a big change. The soul campfire is now going to do twice as much damage to an entity as the regular campfire. This is probably to be consistent with the fire of the soul fire doing more damage than regular fire, so makes them more effective at killing entities. One thing I'll point out here, shouldn't these drop, cooked food? Because they've kind of been cooked on the campfire. And here's a potentially big change to bees. If you have a nest or a hive, the bees inside of it don't tick over. So if they're like a baby bee, they're not going to spend time inside of the nest or the hive growing up, or if they're pollinated, those numbers are not going to tick over. And supposedly in this snapshot, when they're inside of the nest and the hive, those things are now going to happen. There is also a change to zombie behavior, what's known as reinforcements or social spawning. You damage a zombie in survival mode, and then there is a chance that it summons in reinforcements nearby. And the change is that those reinforcements are not going to be able to summon in if they're above glass blocks. And there is also something about them being able to spawn in if the light level is 9 or higher. However, I've seen them spawn in way higher light levels than that, so not really sure what that one's about. Now those were some of the more significant of bug fixes in this snapshot, and you'll see that there are a lot of them because we're getting closer to 1.16. But first of all, let's talk about those dancing piglins, and then we'll get back to the bugs that have been fixed in this snapshot. So my ability to show you the piglin victory dance may be a little bit limited because I am yet to see it when the piglins are hunting down hoglins. I've seen them successfully do this, but never have I seen a dance. And I've tried all sorts of experiments, which is why there are so many of them hanging out around here. Even using a zoglin to attack them. It may not work the same way with a zoglin, but when they kill one of these, they sort of jump around like this. This could actually be the victory dance, just them jumping up and down, and it's a little bit different from something that we saw the other day. So I wanted to see that one more time really clearly here. Are they going to jump up and down? Well, they certainly move back and forth like something intentional is happening, right? Is this it? Is this the dance right here? They are kind of running around like they're dancing. I mean, I don't know. So this is what we saw on Twitter a couple of days ago from Henrik, one of the developers of Mojang, and this is the original piglin dance that was shown off. And I haven't seen this in game, and it could just be that it has been changed and it's something far more simple. I gotta say, this is a bit wild for Minecraft, but I think it's very amusing. And it looks really cool. There was also this hoglin dance as well, which was a little bit over the top, as the tweet suggests. So I'm pretty sure this didn't get added into the snapshot, but there they are, and there's the ridiculousness. That is simply hilarious, and again, I don't think this has been included in this snapshot. And while we're looking at Twitter, I guess it's also a good way to show you that some adjustments to mobs riding other entities. Piglins specifically have had their alignment changed, and I think most of them in general have had some love given to them to make sure that they all ride other entities correctly. As you can see here, these tweets from Henrik show the work that's been done for this snapshot. So going back to the bugs, there were quite a lot related to structures that generate in the world. For example, nether fortresses or strongholds and monster dungeons, and it looks like they've gone over bugs related to this to look for issues where perhaps the spawning of these things overrides other materials or blocks in the world, and so in essence you should see less funkiness with generated structures. And due to some of the ongoing redstone changes, in last week's snapshot the redstone will actually stay how it was a moment ago when you extend the piston, which is faulty behavior. Here's something else I've noticed. If you set these to dots and then retract and extend, they don't remember that they were once dots, and perhaps that's something that they should do. I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like it could be a valid thing. If you had food cooking on a campfire and you put it out with a water bucket, you wouldn't have got those items back in the previous snapshot. And that's obviously a bug, but I've got a question for you. Do you think that the Soulfire campfire should cook food twice as fast? I think that would be pretty cool. Now, this next bug fix will be relevant to users typing in the chat, because you can't do that while you've got a crafting screen open. But if you use the command/clear to clear a player's inventory, it would ignore the crafting grid right here. So if you had a data pack that used that, players could hold on to items by putting them in the crafting grid, and that's no longer possible. Bit of a big change in this one. Your Crimson Nilium and your Warped Nilium will now require Silk Touch to pick up. So here I am breaking it with an unenchanted pick, and we get Netherrack. And then with Silk Touch, you can see it then drops itself. You will now be able to use Blackstone in an anvil to repair stone tools. So recently we've seen the compass and the clock kind of nerfed from various places it appears when it's not in the player's inventory. I've noticed that this actually works inside of the creative inventory, but then again, you're in creative mode. But now if you're trading with a villager and they have a compass or a clock, you're not going to be able to see where it's pointing to. Last of all, something I missed from last week's snapshot and learned from Slice Line, you can actually type in tags into this bit right here, and this is the Piglin Loved tag, which is a new one that has been added to the game. So inside of that tag is all the items that Piglins love. So my friends, that is it from me this Minecraft update video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like if you did, and if you've heard of Minecraft Dungeons and you got the itch to watch some, well, over on my second channel there is a 2-hour stream of me playing dungeons, and I think another one's coming out soon. So if that sounds interesting to you, then head on over there. There'll be a link in the description box below. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.